is a real hardcore game! Just like the old run and gun games for the Super Nintendo were. It is where it belongs! It has to be that hard!
Wait, so have we started yet?
Yeah, we're good. We're going. This is Jackass Unlimited Part 2 with a couple of the co-hosts that didn't show up, and Vitalogy is missing today. So, well, he's online. He can join in if he wants. So I've got New back again.
What is it, guys? It is your boy Retro Alerted coming to you some live Black Ops 3 gameplay, and today we're going to be looking at the new map Giant. So you could have played this map earlier in the game if you had pre-ordered it before release, but now knowing the gaming industry's current state, you realize that pre-ordering games is actually the worst idea you could possibly do, and if you have more than 2 brain cells, it's probably not a great idea.
Okay.
So now you're probably
I have thoughts about pre-ordering, and I don't want to lose them, so I want to introduce the other people first. We have Human Echo, as he goes by.
Yeah, that's me.
VS2VS, who I don't know if I have it.
Versus.
Yeah, versus. I know. I don't know. VS. I don't know. That wasn't a joke.
Penis.
That wasn't a joke. But I wanted to interrupt you because I have thoughts on pre-ordering.
All right.
I think pre-ordering is okay in if you if you don't think you can get a hold of the game usually. And B, if you play a game on some hardcore level where you need to jump into new content immediately, then yeah. But the whole the idea of the pre-order bonus is kind of a weird thing.
It's just for a way for companies to get money before they've actually done anything.
And I'll admit, it does work. It does work on me. I'm the kind of guy who will buy a game and then buy all the DLC, provided the game on its own is cheap and the DLC is also decently cheap. So it's a $30 package altogether.
Problem.
Yeah, basically the same.
The thing I hate the most about pre-orders is that it's usually the reward that comes with it usually isn't worth it. Sometimes it's just absolute trash that isn't really worth it.
Oh my god. The new Assassin's Creed thing where they just flat out admitted that they were blocking off content. They used that wording.
The We Was Kings edition.
Oh my god.
I haven't actually seen that.
It's sorry, the bonus mission is blocked unless you pre-order.
The bonus mission isn't going to matter. You're just going to skip the boss battle anyway.
Stop.
I mean, I can't really talk too much on pre-ordering because I spent $75 on XCOM 2 before it even came out. So.
I pre-order every WoW expansion, but that's for the whole I want to jump into this on launch night thing.
Speaking of XCOM, one of the only games I tried to complete and just could not.
I play XCOM all the time.
Yeah, I've seen you playing it a few times, on Discord. Anyway, did we want to talk about video? Did we want to talk about video game industry shenanigans first, or do we want to get into
basically companies like Activision, EA, and Ubisoft?
Warner Brothers.
The only reason, those two also, but the only reason those companies are still alive is that they have intellectual properties that people like. If they were making their own,
EA doesn't care. EA will. Ubisoft dumped it.
Yeah, and EA could put up the worst game imaginable.
Your mic is doing weird. Your mic is being weird.
Is it?
It was being weird for a second there. Anyway, it's a little bit better now.
Basically, EA could put the worst game possible, but it won't matter because if it's based off any popular IP, then it will just sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, Battlefront 1.
Battlefront 1 was just bad. Battlefront 2 has become pay-to-win garbage.
Most people don't know that don't know about earlier Battlefront games, so they're not gonna. So they think that this is the only place they can get this kind of experience.
Guys, just get like
And
a
that's what
PSP off of like Amazon or eBay and get the original Battlefront 2, or just
Forget-
get
Yeah,
it
I
on
got the
PS2
original
also.
Battlefront 2.
have they taken both of them? Have they taken both of them off Steam now?
Probably
For what?
have just to, like.
Oh, actually, I heard they gave the servers back to Battlefront 2 like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I know,
Really?
but I heard
Yeah,
some.
I had a friend who was playing that nonstop.
You sure
I-
they weren't just playing the Battlefront 2 beta?
I know
No,
eventually.
they were. I think it's actually called like Battlefront 2005, like
Seriously?
classic or something like that.
I'll
Let me
need to
look it
check
up
that
right
out.
now.
I'll need to check that out. I can check that out like right after this.
I mean, I got Steam pulled up right now, so
Nuke,
I'm looking
stop leaking that stuff in my chat. Thank you. That's private
Okay.
photograph.
You
Okay,
and you could have been having an affair.
it's not an affair, okay, but you still can't. But
I mean,
Please, fucking spell
literally,
it.
anyone watching this that isn't in our iFunny group is not gonna get anything. They're
yeah,
not even gonna know who we are. Like,
I'm putting
the
that
thing about
picture up.
podcasts is that they involve really popular people, like
Not
the
necessarily.
RG podcast involves
Plenty of people plenty of people will get like going through a podcast, and I plan to like eventually record my own stuff on YouTube at some point. So
Yep, right here. Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic 2005 for $.
VS
watch out
adjust
for
your
those
mic.
wrist rockets.
VS adjust your mic. It's like sounds really bit crunched now.
I can fix that.
He was just doing his best Battlefront 2
That usually
game announce impression.
Yeah, Battlefront 2.
The new one or old
it's the new one, the old one even.
Yeah.
It's surprising how well it holds up as like a military strategy thing. It's like how you'd be surprised how some of those old things hold up. Like I remember specifically seeing like History Channel things where they played Rome Total War. It was lit.
I mean, I'll still sink hours into Galactic Conquest to this day.
I don't understand how they have yet to put like for the first Battlefront new one from EA, like they couldn't even put their like prequel trilogy in it. Like, how do you mess that up? And
because the prequel trilogy wasn't. They didn't think it was going to be profitable because of Plinkett. Basically, they're just like, everyone hates the prequels, so no one's going to care if we ship prequel stuff because no one wants to play it, which is wrong.
Was in the Battlefront 2 on PS2.
Yeah,
so like...
which is wrong, and like they're adding it now because they realize there's a demand for it.
Yeah. Only way they can earn somewhat respect for me is if they add like clones versus stormtroopers, which I highly doubt they can do because EA doesn't have any brain cells.
Yeah, it took like there's only like a few modded maps that do that in BF2. Like one of the Capital Down maps does that. If you're familiar with those, Capital Down are conquest maps.
Wait, it was a mod? No, it was like part of the main game.
No, Capital Down. It was a series of conquest maps that took place around a crashed capital ship of each of the factions, and that was just what it did. I have them on my computer. Like I could post copies of those files.
I feel like EA's like the only reason EA's like games are being sold is just through pure hype. Like the only reason Battlefront 1 was even popular was because hey, we're opposing Infinite Warfare's futuristic setting.
Oh my god!
Basically like almost a response.
Oh my god! The first trailer for Star Wars Battlefront was just nothing. There was a guy in the snow, and then Star Wars Battlefront logo. EA wins E3.
See, EA is only getting money through IPs. They're not even getting it through pure quality.
You can stretch that into a lot of things. I think, like, I would say that people, like, Valve has, like, a fan base that will stick up for them, but, like, at this point, you have to, like, realize that they're just collecting money off their, like, goodwill at this point.
Have they even made any new games recently?
No.
Exactly.
I think Portal 2... I think either Portal 2 or... I can't tell if it was Portal 2 or CSGO that was the most recent, but it was one of those two, and that was, like, their most recent.
I want to say Portal 2, because I think Portal 2 came out, like, 2009, I think.
Portal 2 was, like, 2010, 12 area, and Go, I thought, was somewhere around there, but I don't know.
You know, for, like, the 2000s to 2017 can be summed up into, like, arcs. So, like, 2005 was, like, I don't know. the beginning arc.
The early 2000s to the late 90s to the early 2000s were great for games because you had like Deus Ex, Thief 1 through 3. Yeah. Now your mic's really quiet.
Mine?
No, the versus. Fuck.
Oh.
I'm not really saying it.
Oh well, now it's normal. So what do I know?
Yeah, like 3 Metal Gear games came out during that time.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah,
wait.
3.
Did 3 happen later? No. It's really weird thinking about.
3 came out 2004.
It's really weird thinking about the console generations because it doesn't feel like the PS3 happened in 06 ish.
Yeah, because it lasted a long time. It lasted up to like 20. Let's be honest, like even though the next gen consoles came out 2013, no one really got them until like 2015, or like a majority didn't buy them until 2015.
And like I feel like the Xbox One PS4 Wii U generation is going to be the forgotten one.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. The only reason I got an Xbox One is because everyone's putting games on there now. I just had to upgrade through pure upgrade. I forgot
you. I think I interrupted you and Echo. What were you saying?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say I got my PS4 like 2015.
Yeah, I got mine like 2015 basically.
I still have like back last gen when I bought everything. Like I had a Wii for a long time, then I got a PS3 and 360 eventually, and my brother has a One, but I don't because I don't care on PC now.
Oh, you're going for the PC side now, the master race.
Just for pure convenience.
Yeah, I'm PC mainly because I can't afford to constantly get consoles.
Yeah, it's not like PC master race. My PC runs games worse than most consoles. I'll admit that, but I just it's easier for me to acquire a new game.
That's understandable.
One problem for me is like one of my favorite franchises, which is Shin Megami Tensei, from like both Nintendo and PS4. So if I want to play Persona like 5, I've got to get a PS4, but to play Shin Megami Tensei 5, I've got to get a Switch. So now I'm like on the hunt for a Switch. Hopefully I'll be getting it like in 2 weeks or so.
I just pray that the nearest Black Lives Matter riot is a nearby game store.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
On the topic of Shin Megami Tensei, the Shin Megami Tensei are games I've been meaning to play for a long time.
Yeah,
is that the one featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series?
Yeah,
or am I thinking that's something? Yeah.
Honestly, that's a crossover that makes way too much sense.
Speaking of Devil May Cry, I just recently completed Devil May Cry 4 on Legendary Demon Hunter difficulty, and I feel like the other 3 characters that came with the special edition were basically meant to be played on that difficulty because they're the most overpowered thing possible.
Devil May Cry 1 I didn't like much at all. Like not reboot 1, but like original was like kind of clumsy.
Yeah, 2001 Devil May Cry. Yeah, I could see that. It doesn't really hold up age-wise.
Yeah, I agree.
It was probably like revolutionary at the time, but now it's just kind of like a generic character.
Okay, since we're going to like video games completely, I think we're gonna make it a little bit about. We're gonna make this just an episode about the video game industry, and I'm gonna make the intro like one of Jim Sterling's Commentocracy.
Oh no, we should just make the video just like kidnap like an Activision employee and shoot him in the head. That'd be a great intro.
Yeah, just real quick.
Yeah, come on. I mean, if you're in Texas, you can do that easily. I mean, that's where like a lot of video game companies
are. Dark web hitman or something.
Don't kidnap a Ubisoft employee though. They're suffering too, apparently.
They better be.
They're suffering as it is. They work for Ubisoft.
Yeah, like apparently Ubisoft like is really bad to their employees. Like it's not as bad.
Kind of like Konami. Are they just like Konami but like in the West?
It's not as bad as like there was that one guy. Oh, hi Vitalogy. He's here apparently.
Hey, what's up? What is up, guy? Yo. What is up, Vitalogy? It is your boy Rich and Lily coming to do some live.
Shut the fuck up. We're just talking about like stuff that annoys us about video game publishers, basically. And what I was saying is like there was a guy who like he's the head of Microsoft DirectX, and he talked about how great it is to put your employees under unreasonable time crunches. Like he had a whole speech about.
Great.
Yeah, lovely.
I would definitely want to work for him.
Same.
The fuck?
Yes. Kind of
I think you just went to the.
That's great.
Oh
I
god.
wish I'd done it before, but you know.
Fucking hell! You can mute yourself.
Oh
can
my
mute
god.
yourself. I don't know if I want to leave that in.
Comment
Leave
down.
it.
What is
Leave
it?
it.
What?
Leave it.
Okay, I'm leaving it in.
No, that's the highlight of the podcast, guys. There you go.
And
Yep.
the outro. Anyway. Like I do want to keep moving on from that because if like that catches us, then it's gonna be a fairly boring last while. So
No, it's all good.
Someone else say something about even just like video games in general, or how you've been annoyed with how
Video game
even,
journalists are a joke and all of them should die.
Too much
This
work.
includes companies such as Polygon, Kotaku, IGN. All those, they don't deserve to live.
I'm a
Get
Sterling
all their
at.
employees and just make a lynch mob for them.
People give Jim Sterling a bunch of shit. He doesn't deserve it. I don't think. I like him a lot.
No, like YouTube reviewers, those guys are fine because they actually have, they actually play the games. Like I'm talking about these like white soccer moms that like play the game for like 1 hour and they can make like an in-depth review about it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put like a little bit of blame on publishers there because a lot of publishers they don't give review copies anymore. They invite critics out to these events and they give them like the best possible hour of the game to play and then say, okay, get your review out.
Oh, really? That's what they do nowadays?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, recently.
I don't see the
It
point.
still
of
doesn't
it.
excuse the fact that someone couldn't pass the tutorial to fucking Cuphead.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that's different about Cuphead for me is that's gonna be the experience for a good amount of people with Cuphead. So if you're doing a consumer review, might as well do it from the perspective of someone who finds it that hard.
Really? Because, I mean...
Not the tutorial, but like someone who's gonna get stuck on level 2 is gonna be a lot of people. So
I don't see how people
Maybe.
can get stuck on the tutorial.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're just bad, have you... I feel
Yeah.
like...
I mean
I hate to be nuts.
I've gotten through most of Toho 12 normal, so I'm kind of a badass, but
To be honest, I haven't even reached level 5 in Toho 12. I'm not gonna lie.
Toho 12 is hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard one, because, like... Unlike other Toho games which give you continues, this one just starts at the beginning of the level you're on.
Actually, I prefer that approach. Like the normal, the first couple difficulties in Mountain of Faith have the same approach to things. Honestly, all it does is it gives me a decent. It just makes it so I'm not gonna be running. Because I'm gonna run out of continues if it gives me them. So, just having this constant restart button from the beginning of the level lets me really.
I don't know, because whenever you start the level, you have, like, 0 power.
I can usually get
Yeah.
that back fairly easily through red UFOs, but
That's true.
we're not talking about Toho. Vitalogy, do you have anything
Yeah,
to
we're
add?
talking about bad games.
We're gonna talk about bad games. Let me bring up Dark Souls 2.
Fucking kill yourself. Okay. Don't. I know you actually consider that. Sometimes don't do it.
Look. Okay, no, let's not get into this. That's for another time, but,
Yeah, let's not get into that.
I think we actually were like very civil about it when it came up last week. So
Yeah, but then again, your mic was, like, going to hell, so I couldn't understand half your argument, not gonna lie.
all right. It's fine though. Let's move on and instead talk about how this company that made Dark Souls, From Software, also created Metal Wolf Chaos.
What's that?
You just need to look it up. Just
Do
Okay.
I want to?
actually, you know what? I'll just post this.
Post it, my guy.
God, what is he gonna?
Yo, did everyone just die or something? Like, it went really quiet.
I'm searching for the
Yeah,
I'm searching for
I
the
had a
screenshots.
stroke.
I'm searching for
Silent
like
with anticipation.
I'm searching for the screenshots for Metal Wolf Chaos is what I'm doing.
Mm. Wait,
Alright.
FromSoft or Bandai Namco? Because okay, that was a stupid question. But if you look at Code Vein, I'm
You know
not
what?
gonna lie. I was kind of hyped for it, then I realized it just looks kind of bad. Like, it looks like a really crappy Bloodborne with anime characters.
I'll show it to you later, like because my computer is having issues with copy paste, which it sometimes does with images. So
Here, I'll just look it up.
yeah, I mean the image that best defines what it is to me is a little bit down there.
So hold on, what
Is
is
it like
it?
some over the top like Metal Gear Rising type game?
Sort of. I mean, I posted it on the one. That's the back cover.
What is that?
What is that? What is that?
It is kind of a Metal Gear Rising type.
Is that? You will kill the vice president.
President Michael Wilson. He will kill the vice president.
Why is the
Yes.
president killing the vice president?
Because the vice president is leading the terrorists.
Oh,
Wait, what?
This is basically the plot of Geostorm too, by the way.
Oh,
Geostorm
I had
is
the idea for a game where like these androids, like they end up getting hacked and kidnapping the president, but it turns out the president was the one that hacked them.
that's also kind of the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2. in a little
Yeah,
bit.
like
of a way.
Metal Gear Rising's plot and Metal Gear Solid 2's plot are oddly similar if you look really close
Well,
into it.
yeah, I mean that might be intentional.
Maybe,
Because
since both games had Raiden.
Yeah. However, it was different in that Armstrong was the mastermind. The president in the first game wasn't, because he like eventually things got out of his hands.
Oh yeah, the Solidus was upon the entire time, while Armstrong was just batshit insane.
Yeah, Armstrong was completely in control that whole time. But
Yeah.
anyway, speaking of Solidus, do you ever feel like we're getting to that point where like all intelligent thought doesn't need to be censored because it's just going to be buried under people who don't get it, so they don't need to censor it because no one's going to find it?
So no one's gonna understand.
No one can understand intellectualists anymore.
Me, an intellectual.
To be fair, you must have a very high IQ to understand
The plot of
Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Also, what? Go on.
I'm fine with going off topic because that's what's going to get us most of our time, like in this. But so just to go off topic about like people who think like that they're smart for watching Rick and Morty, they're not. I was at the camp and I had a bunch of 8-year-olds screaming Rick and Morty memes at me for a bit.
Oh,
I was working over there.
God.
Why are 8-year-olds watching? Why should I ask?
They're not watching Rick
8-year-olds?
and Morty.
Oh,
they're
they're
seeing
not?
They're
Oh.
seeing memes.
I remember seeing this like 4chan post that was like, kids thought 9/11 was an actual meme and not an actual event. Like, have we reached that point in society?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, China has to blame itself for that.
You know, like, remember like back when the internet was just used for scientists to like send shit to other scientists, not what it is today.
Not memes.
The internet. I kind of love what happened to the internet because, okay, if I had to pick a show that really represented like what I want to be, it would probably be Serial Experiments Lane.
Hmm.
Serial Experiments Lane is the show that deals with the sort of more abstract ideas of the internet, and it basically predicted what the internet would become like years before it became what it is. So like you had like a group of random people who are activists, pseudo terrorists in their off time while they're busy being single moms the rest of their time, which is like anonymous, right? And little different things like that, or people taking on completely different versions of themselves while they're online. Little things like that.
Huh.
And eventually
watch that.
And eventually the idea is that like your internet persona is like an incredibly powerful being that can have influence besides yourself and on the real world, like physically, like through like telekinesis and shit. It's crazy.
All right.
I feel like internet persona is just you without limits.
I wouldn't say so. I'd say it's more like a weird alternate personality that comes out as like your pseudo ideal of yourself.
The one thing that isn't a pseudo ideal of mine, anime girls are still better than real girls.
Oh boy.
It's a fact, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah, boy.
Well, any
Yeah, boy.
any intentional idealization is gonna be better than the real thing.
Well,
Like-
obviously.
Like if you look at like the commercials for a fast food place, it's gonna look better than the actual thing. It's like that.
It's not going to look like plastic.
Wait, we're talking about the anime girls or the food?
I'm comparing the two. So like
I mean, both can look like plastic. I'm not gonna lie.
the big like. So if you
Big
have you
what?
ever gotten a Big Mac that looked as good as like the ones in the commercials or any food for that matter from like a fast food place?
The only
No, can't say that. The
place
closest I've ever got to that was like pizza. That's the closest.
that or Arby's.
Yeah, Arby's. Arby's is very photogenic. But it's the same with like not only anime girls, but any like fictionalized female that you aren't supposed to hate.
Yeah. Well, even the ones you are supposed to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, Aqua from Konosuba, she's useless, but I mean, ass to ass, man. Then again, no matter what you do, everything boils down to personality and ideals.
Yeah, and the reason that I've always been kind of weird about this idea you have about anime girls is that, yeah, I do value the ability to hold a conversation with someone that is like going to be able to retort you, like that. Maybe it's how I'm programmed, but
I mean, you could argue that anime girls are actually real in the sense that they exist as an idea, and because
Yeah.
I mean, remember this me saying this is coming from a Christian. That I mean, they're real if you want to believe they're real. The same way how, like, in a religion, I mean, while there's no physical proof that Jesus existed, but you have to have faith that he exists and that the events in your life are caused by him.
okay,
Faith.
the truth. Okay, so I think we can
The
all
same
boil
way,
this down.
if you feel love from an anime girl, you're feeling love from them.
Okay, I guess we can all boil this down to anime as a religion. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, B.
And-
where do I start? How do I sign up?
The other thing I kind of wanted
You
to bring
could-
up in this, Vitality, you go.
You could make anime a religion. You just have to have like the right papers and stuff for it.
Okay, Movie brought this off in reference to like American comics, but I thought it was really interesting that like all the stories that are like considered religion were at one point meant to be read as fictional.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
by the people that created them, like most of them anyway, were. So if you consider that, yes, it absolutely could.
Huh.
Like
I
you
mean,
can like
anything
like
can
there's-
become a religion
there's-
nowadays.
there's comic relief.
Like a
Like
list.
if you're looking for it, there's like narrative arcs and comic relief in the Bible. Like
Yeah.
Jesus wept.
I mean,
The shortest verse in the Bible, by the way.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
God doesn't cry for us.
No.
Jesus does.
He cries for what he's existed.
You think God stays in heaven because he too fears what he has created?
Well, the picture I posted of President Michael Wilson probably proves that.
You tell me FromSoft made this?
Yeah, I'm not saying that like the people behind Dark Souls made this, but it's the same studio. But I did vaguely have an idea that we were going to get into online discourse and whether or not it's worthwhile being polite online at some point in this. That was going to be the opening topic, but
I feel like people shouldn't have an incentive to be polite. Like, if the first thought of meeting someone shouldn't be, oh, I should be polite. I mean, you shouldn't be a dick, but like, you should just talk to them neutrally. Like, being polite shouldn't be like, an incentive. It should be like a privilege. Like, how do I put it this way? Like, you shouldn't force yourself to be polite to people. That only be polite to people that you actually care about being polite to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it depends on how you want to come off to people.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I am very easily angered, and when I am very hard to restrain. That's kind of why Endless Jess is my idol in life.
Huh.
Endless Jess is, oh my God. I need to take a clip from him. I'm just gonna like superimpose it into the podcast running. It's like.
Oh, okay.
But
So how many episodes till we get like a live podcast where all of us are in front of a camera?
Probably. I'm gonna say once it's probably gonna be a while before anything like that happens, if it does.
Yeah. It'll be a while.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I haven't looked at geography in a while, but I'm pretty sure Nebraska is a bit far from Cali.
Yeah, you gotta fly near me out from Sweden. Get the whole fucking crew. But
Why Sweden?
he lives in Sweden.
Oh.
Yeah, boy. So it's like.
So how are the car explosions, huh?
I like minimalist flags.
Pretty good.
I like minimalist flags. That's why I like call Scotland one of my favorite flags.
You know what else was a minimalist flag?
Sure.
The Iron Flag.
The only flag that's like really the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Yeah, you made a post about that. Wait, wasn't that the one with like the skull and two swords?
No, it's like this. It's this like it looks like it was drawn in MS Paint, but it was made by pirates, which is fairly impressive. But they what they did was they painted this. It's like a skeleton holding like a harpoon, and it's like just been freshly stabbed into like this perfectly symmetrical heart, which is like bleeding.
Oh.
Yeah, it has a nice flag.
Personally, my thoughts on flags and all that is that no matter what they represent, like no matter what they are, no matter what they represent, they should be burned because all humans deserve to burn, but we're not going to burn all humans. We gotta.
Well, I mean, if you're ISIS, you don't really care.
Well, I mean, they care about taking over the Middle East. That's about it.
Right now, they care about surviving.
If we just like leveled almost the entire Middle East except for like Israel, like what would we be losing?
Kurdistan.
Oh yeah, damn it.
Well, I don't think you like Kurdistan because it's commies, but.
Oh yeah, that's true though.
I like them, so they're another group of the flag I quite like, but
I mean,
that's not a hit.
To be honest, it's not a bad ideal on paper, but then you put politicians into the mix, and they screw everything up.
And I want to like save this discussion for another like podcast. I figure this is a good like 20-30 minutes worth right there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, we were talking about being polite on the internet, and I am not typically very polite. What
I can
what
kinda
are your
We
see.
thoughts?
went from being polite on the internet to communism.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's how we're gonna that's how we're gonna fill our runtime. But
One of my least favorite people on the internet are white knights. I mean, what do you expect to gain out of this?
I've been called a white knight before, like just in
Have
my
you?
class.
Oh.
Not online, in my class, despite the fact that I have minimal interest in women. I am mostly gay, but at the same time, I don't really have an interest in pursuing relationships. I want to live alone. Like,
You don't want to fuck traps in bed, don't you? Just get like a trap body pillow, man. I'm telling you. Anime boys are better than real boys.
that's a fact. That's like not as disputable to me. At the same time, this is the weird thing about me. I will start sentences with no idea where I plan to go with them, and
Same. I do all the time.
they won't even have a beginning. They will just have the like set up for something to be said, and then I'll realize I don't have anything to go on, and I'll go back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Just get some improv lessons. Ugh.
I don't know if any of you have felt from doing this, but have you ever like tried to talk to a group of people, but instead of actually talking to them, like you just kind of stay outside the circle and kind of smirk every now and then?
I tend to commandeer any conversation I'm in
Oh, what?
without noticing
Sounds
because
good on that day.
I have a lot
Then again,
to
most
say.
of the times that happened to me is usually around like preps, who I now hate. You know, that whole shig, the popular white kids and all that.
Oh man, those posers! Dang. Sorry, like oh my god, that's like my immortal talk basically. If any of you are
What do you
familiar.
mean?
Oh my Immortal is what's commonly known as the worst fanfiction ever written, and it's like infamously the main character is like this goth caricature unintentionally, and has a big problem with like preps. So
Oh,
Those gosh darn white kids.
she was white
well, they're
too.
not. Some of them would like look like if XX Tentacion was like a 15-year-old high schooler.
Oh my god,
This
X
is true.
Oh,
X
you ever
is,
heard you heard X stop making music?
Yeah.
no. Did he? Like he was
Yeah,
probably one of the.
he put it
I
on his
didn't
Instagram. He was
I didn't like him, but he was probably one of the better people on the new freshman cipher. So.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, who's your man's? I mean, his music wasn't. I mean, I thought it was all right. It was more of a guilty pleasure for me. I kind of like the hard beat with it. The lyrics were absolute filth, though. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I like myself a really hard beat. Like Beware by Death Grips is like one of my favorite songs ever. It's great. I don't know if any of you have anything to add to that. I just like Death Grips.
Speaking of music, you know what's a good song?
What?
Bullet with Butterfly Wings by the Smashing Pumpkins. It was featured in both the Dead Space 2 launch trailer and the Battlefront 1 review trailer.
Oh, so is it just one of those songs where if I heard it, I'd recognize it? So it's kind of innocuous.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the Dead Space 2 launch trailer?
I don't think I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, it's a really good trailer and it has a really nice song in it.
Yeah,
And it's honestly
Smashing
one of the most
Pumpkins.
underrated songs I've heard so far.
Yeah, but Smashing Pumpkins is like they're
No, like I'm not even a fan of the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm just a fan of that one song.
I haven't heard enough Smashing Pumpkins. My dad's a fan.
well, like once a song of theirs starts playing, and you hear the singer, you can immediately tell who it is.
Like my dad, I will like he has these like sort of mixtapes that he plays in his car. Like he just makes he just makes like it's a mixed disc of like other people, and I listen to them, and I sort of have little clippets of the songs, and I'll hear the actual things much later down the line, and I'll realize that he was like into like alt rock at the time. He's a big alt rock guy, so he has like a little bit of Green Day, a little bit of Cage the Elephant, stuff like that on them. And I'm not a big fan of that stuff, but a lot of it was good.
Gotcha.
My dad's like a fan of Nick Cave and like the Pogues.
Oh yeah, Nick Cave.
Loads of metal stuff.
I got into metal pretty much. I used to say metal wasn't really my thing. Then I got into Dream Evil through World of Warcraft AMVs, pretty much.
All right.
And then
Interesting.
I realized that okay, I dig power metal a little bit, and then a guy called Razor Fist made a bunch of videos called metal. Made his metal. He made his Metal Mythos series. Razor Fist, by the way,
that name alone is metal enough.
Razor Fist, by the way, is one of the funniest people on the internet. He usually talks about video games.
I agree.
And he and I no, because I remember he was talking in like one of his he was talking in his video about the BattleTech reboot that someone was launching, which is what MechWarrior is based on. And he said, and unlike Iron Maiden's, this game trimmed the fat and got rid of some of its rules. And I'm like, okay, that statement's intriguing. I'm going to watch this video on Iron Maiden. And so I did that, and I realized I liked a lot of the music that was playing. And so I tuned into their station on iHeartRadio, and I heard some of the other stuff on that playlist, and I got into Dio that way. And,
You know, one thing I just can't do the other people. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to add Razorfist is like one of my favorite YouTubers, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say I picked up a lot of, like, people are impressed by my vocabulary. I got a good amount of it from him.
Huh.
Yeah, he has a wide range of vocabulary.
Yeah, he's one of the more creative. He's the reason that I will say that it takes like more effort to make good insults than to debate smartly. It's because like no one can do it like he does.
Yeah, he's amazing at insults.
So one thing that I just can't get that other people do is that like I can't listen to just only one type of music.
Yeah, I mean,
like everything I listen to is like it ranges from like either like 30-second video game OSTs to like 6-minute like songs.
Yeah, I mean, like I will listen to like my music taste is pretty eclectic as well. Like I mentioned Death Grips a bunch, and I also mentioned one of my favorite albums of all time is Croissant Pause Satanic, whatever the fuck, by Gorgoroth, their 2009 album.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really fucking good. It's like black metal, but it's got like classic metal like orchestration, but all the instruments still sound black metal-ish. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, black metal. For me, like, I listen to idol shit and fucking black metal, and then I can listen to like, let's say, Kanye West or something.
Yeah, I listen to like a lot of this sort of just above the underground, just below the mainstream hip hop, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And also in that, I will listen to like I'm big into Coheed and Cambria. I'm my favorite band, the Mars Volta, which I got Human Echo into actually. My favorite song of all time, Cassandra Gemini, is their 32-minute fucking crazy shit. I wanted to do my best impression of the beginning, but then I realized I didn't want to sing on mic for all you people. But I think Human Echo knows the bit I'm talking about, like just the first like minute or so of Cassandra Gemini.
Yeah.
So hey, I'm Ted. What time are we running at here?
We are currently almost 45 minutes in, so.
All right, so I wanted to bring this up before everything went to hell, or doesn't go to hell.
We can go pretty much as long as we want, so.
Well, I mean, I have to leave before 6 p.m. PST because I have church.
Okay, so that gives us a good little while, so.
Yeah, so maybe like I have like potential 50 minutes left. So basically, I want to bring it up. Has anyone watched Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I have not yet.
Yes.
It's been on my fucking watch list forever.
Same here. I've been planning on watching it.
You fool.
I mean,
I mean, I've had people in my life hyping it up to me for as long as I've known it existed.
Okay, no,
so-
that's the worst thing you can do. Like, don't listen to the hype. Just go in with your own opinion, not the opinions of others, because people will hype things up to be higher than they actually are, no matter what you're doing and or playing and or watching.
But Eva is one of my favorite series, probably of all time. At least in the like top 15 series.
It was like almost the first anime I watched, actually.
That sounds like a really weird entry point. My first anime, I feel like it might have actually been Lane, like Serial Experiments Lane I was talking about earlier.
Mine was
The thing about Evangelion being my first anime I watched was that, you know, as a kid, I was really accepting of like really weird and, for lack of a better term, pretentious stuff. I was like, and also at the time, like, I wasn't really exposed to like a lot of psychological stuff. Everything was usually just generic like action. So when I saw Evangelion and it had like this psychological viewpoint, I didn't understand it because I watched it when I was like 4th grade. But I was watching it, I was like, this.
Ava in 4th grade. That's like sounds like the perfect model of development for anyone.
Watching Evangelion in 4th grade.
Yeah, I want to. I got into anime probably in the 6th grade because like I got into it the first time and I had a really shallow view of it. I was watching like Arcada for opinions and shit, who I hate now.
Oh, you hate Arcada? I hated him after he gave Angel Beats a 7 out of 10.
I hate Arcada because I just don't think that his like content is very in depth. Remember, I'm a big fan. I'm a big like fan of all of Digibro's work. Like,
yeah,
like his friends. Like I keep mentioning.
Nice.
Giga's also really good, except you know he never uploads.
I keep mentioning Endless Jess. He's one of Digi's friends and who he considers to be like his artistic better. So I like Digi's podcasts. There's just hours upon hours worth of them out on the internet that just feature him, and you can find them and you can listen to them forever. It's great.
Yeah, I've listened to
featuring Endless Jess from the Digibro series.
Yeah. Endless Jess is weird in the sense that he has like several different channels that all feature into a story that kind of has a continuity, but that he will sometimes admit the continuity has been knocked aside by his laziness alone.
Okay.
And
I like stories like that. Like they're continuous, but like they still have their own plot holes.
It's like the next part of the next video was meant to have a plot segment, but I got too lazy, so I didn't record it. But the next one has the plot segment that was supposed to come after it anyway, because he did record that.
You ever watch Arby and the Chief? Like, boy, was that one hell of a ride. No one? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I'm gonna die now. Just you know.
Okay.
Depression has officially set in.
What? No, we're all like range from 15 to like 40. You know, it kind of just happens to us people at that age.
Yeah.
15 to 40. You referred to probably when the majority of a person's significant life is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean it usually happens around that time, does it not? Yeah, it can happen later, but like it's the most prominent during then because that's your prime. I mean, when you think about it, the human life is really sad because like the first like 1 to 20 years is just hype,
And then
and only like 10 to like 15 years is your prime, and then everything after that is just either retirement or loss.
The thing that's sad about like human beings is that there are currently organs, like there are like parts of our body that serve absolutely no purpose, but decide to possibly go horribly wrong.
Like the appendix.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I know.
Yeah, that's what I've never gotten, but kind of wanted to look into is like, it serves no purpose whatsoever. So if it doesn't serve a purpose, why does it go horribly wrong? There's no point to having it.
It's like it can like something happens to it where it can just explode, like literally and just kill you as it happens. Like there are warning signs, so you can get it surgically removed, which, by the way, has no long-term negative impacts on your body.
I don't know why we don't just do that at like birth, just like surgically remove
A
the.
baby could probably not.
Okay,
survive.
not at birth, but like at least really young, so we don't have to worry about it later. Maybe at like 10, 12.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess what I'm gonna do before we wrap it up is I'm gonna go right back to the topic at the beginning and see if anyone else has any trains of thought they want to pursue on that before we wrap up.
So video game journalism in industry.
Video game, like people who are bad things about video games. I don't know.
I've already said that I absolutely despise EA and Activision.
Didn't
Can you speak anything
Activision
about
do
video games?
something?
Because one thing I don't like about video games is the T rating. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
hate T rating. I hate a lot of T rated games. Not all of them, just a lot. There's like some good ones like Metal Gear Solid 2. I feel like it's just so unnecessary. Like either go all the way or don't go at all.
Yeah.
The same thing with games like Destiny and Halo. Like Halo 5 was T rated and Destiny 2 was T rated. Like you could put like a much more mature and like dark and gritty story and it'd be much more entertaining, especially since you're aiming for an audience like that. Because I mean, after you come out of Halo, and any like Bungie's former fan base is going to be wanting a story like that, but like with maybe like a different tone or like not tone, different characters and story.
Was anyone like I want a continuation of the Halo story like with Master Chief after 3? Like they made Reach, which is a great idea.
They definitely wanted it. People definitely wanted that.
Like
I feel like
they made Reach.
They should have just done like a Metal Gear Solid 4 with Halo 4. Like, I don't know how would you do that with Halo 4 setting, but like I feel like they should have just done that.
They made Reach after 3, and I'm like, okay, so they're just gonna do like anthologies of important points in the history with new characters, but they didn't do that. They haven't done a single one like that since.
The same thing with 3. It ends with Chief being stuck.
So
in
much for
space.
finishing the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he did finish the fight. The fight was over. What are we doing?
Well,
what if the entire like every recent Halo game from 4 to 5 is actually just Chief in a coma?
I mean, like, no, that doesn't make sense because it's like all the stuff in 4 and 5 was based off like extended universe stuff. Which was kind of cool if they didn't slightly fuck it up when they
the whole thing with 4 and the Didact.
Halo is now like to understand Halo 3, all you needed was Halo 1 and 2. Nowadays, like if you want to get Halo 5, you have to read like 80 books and like 5 like TV shows.
And thing because people read the Promethean trilogy, and then people wanted a continuation of that in the game series.
Like I read
that's the reason why Halo 4.
That's the only reason why the Didact existed.
Because
the Didact was the main character in the. I think at least one of the.
No, because what happened was the main character, like the Didact, was about to die, so they did like Forerunner stuff to make him like the not just the new Didact, but like almost a memory clone of the old one.
Yeah,
and that's basically what happened there.
See, I don't like the focus on Promethean anymore because I mean, when you've basically almost like took the focus away from the Covenant, because I mean you have this like amazing world with like multiple factions like the UNSC, the Brutes, Covenant, and you also have the Flood. But I mean if you're focusing in on just robots, that kind of gets boring.
Yeah, like I feel like they could have done more with the Flood because I haven't Promethean stuff beyond like the first book a long time ago, but it seemed like they were hinting that like there was a little bit more to the Flood than what we originally saw of them in the games. And it didn't, and like that wasn't present in 4 at all. So
my question is, I mean, the Flood returned to Halo Wars 2, and they had a positive response to it. So
yeah, because the Flood are a really neat aesthetic. They're kind of pseudo Lovecraftian, but also fit completely fine with the military aesthetic. It's really cool.
Yeah, I like Halo's clashing of aesthetics. Like you have these military, aesthetic along with this like futuristic,
like
city aesthetic.
You have like,
and then you have like the kind of I don't know how to describe it, like Roman-esque type military of the Covenant.
When you look at like the various factions, you have like you have the sort of American military sense of the UNSC.
Yeah.
Then you have you have the very different aesthetics of the Forerunners and the Covenant. And then you have this sort of biopunk thing the Flood have going on. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's all very neat.
Now, I don't know why, but like now they've just made everything really glossy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like someone just got a laminating tool and just laminated the entire Halo universe now.
And also them bringing like the Covenant under like the Didax command makes the ending of Halo 3 seem really hollow, which I hate.
Yeah, because now you just found a way to include elites as enemies again. And second thought, it also just ruins Forerunners and elites. Because imagine you go through the entire game with like Forerunners and a Covenant fighting each other the entire time.
Well, to be fair, the Didac was a rogue. Like,
that's true.
He was always a rogue. He used to be one of the main people in charge, but then they realized that he wasn't quite.
He was basically the Stalin of the Prometheans.
Yeah. Ish. And then so they beat him into the ground, but then they were like, okay, we'll give you another chance. Then he used that other chance to do a bunch of bad shit, and that's kind of sort of what ended with them all dying.
Although what I'm trying to say is like, from like a gameplay perspective, wouldn't it be cool to be fighting Prometheans who are also fighting the Covenant, and also fighting Covenant who's also fighting Prometheans, instead of just having like both enemies fight you at the same time?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It just felt kind of pointless, really.
Yeah. We're talking a bunch about Halo again. I'm going to give the floor to I'm going to let VS, the three that have been talking less than the two of us, give any thoughts they have about video game stuff real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't really got much to say because I don't play a lot of modern games or any big titles, so that's why I've just been kind of sitting it out.
Well, one thing I have is like the thing with Activision like 1 week ago. They made like an patent to put pay-to-win players against newbies. So that's like real.
It's the way it is with every Activision game.
More reasons to hate Activision. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
I'll jump on that train.
My like most hated game company is Sony, but not for what the game.
Really?
Not for what Sony Games did. It's for like various gripes I have with all sorts of different branches of the company and like the company's behavior in general. Like, a lot of it has to do with music stuff, with like Sony Music, which I'm going to save for a music podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sony as a game company isn't too bad, but as other forms of media like movies and music, yeah, they're terrible people.
Like I could talk all day about how like if Sony wasn't so bad, we would have a better like collective image of Michael Jackson in particular, which I know is strangely specific, but it makes sense.
Huh.
I'll explain it to you someday, but with that,
a story for another time.
Damn it, Noir. Damn. So I feel like one good idea or improvement for the podcast is if we recorded our audio individually, then send it to Buggo, and then he can put like audio waves next to our, pictures.
Sounds fine. I will send you a link to the website of the program I'm using in a bit, so you can do that.
All right.
But for now, I think we're gonna.
It's kind of hard to do that on my phone, but because Discord won't work on my computer anymore.
I think, you can always be the exception because your audio isn't usually terrible. But for now,
my mic is just gonna echo on everyone else's audio.
Yeah, for now we're gonna go ahead and sign out.
All right.
I'll see y'all around.
See ya, Space Cowboy.
Peace out.